Okay, I started recording our webinar. So I feel like 1 more minute and we can start. Okay, so who do we have here? I know that we have Odesa teachers here. Can you please use the chat box and type your city? Where are you from? Who do we have here? Dnipro, Lviv. Okay, hi Lviv, hi Dnipro. Nice. Okay. All right, Kiev. Hi Kiev. Yeah, I'm from Odessa. Yeah, I mean I'm originally from Nikolaev. Yeah, I work in Odessa, but today I'm back in Nikolaev. So my parents are happy having me for these month or two. We'll see. Okay, all right. So I feel like we can start because, well, time management, right? We're a little bit late. Okay, so hi everybody one more time. My name is Ksyusha. I am a Green Forest teacher from Odesa. And first thing that I'd like to start with, I'll share my screen. Please tell me if you can see it. So can you see my screen? Can you note, please? I see. Okay, good, perfect. All right, yeah, I mute you because it's going to be easier not to get distracted by extra sounds. So if you have any questions or anything, you're free to use our chat box. So in the end of the webinar, I will have 5 minutes to answer all your questions, so you can type them there. Okay, so the first thing that I'd like to challenge you a little bit. Can you please unscramble this sentence? I feel like I need to and type it in the chat box. Okay, just try to think. Try to unscramble the sentence. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to torture you forever. I will reveal the answers. So be productive, use time management. So today our topic is time management, and we're talking about time management outside the classroom. So some useful techniques and practical advice how to manage our personal life. Of course, our personal influences time management inside the classroom. So tips and on lesson planning, flexi stages, time savers, and questions in the end. Okay, so I feel like we can start. We will start with our personal time management outside the classroom, and all women and men as well, we are multitaskers, and I'd like to answer the question. So can multitasking really save our time, and does it really work? So to answer this question, I will ask you to complete a task together with me. For this task, you need a pen or a pencil, a piece of paper, and a timer on your phone, or you can use laptop. So please make sure that you have all these things next to you. Okay. All right. So what the task is, I will ask you to listen to the instructions carefully till the end, okay? And after I say go, you will start the task. So basically what you need to do, I will ask you to write a phrase, be productive, yeah? And after you finish writing the full phrase, I will ask you to write numbers, as many as letters, as there are letters in this phrase. Be productive. And under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I suppose there are 12 letters, okay? While you doing this task, I will ask you to set the timer, so to keep track of how much time you spend on doing this, okay? So set the timer, write the full phrase, and under all the numbers, as many as there are letters. So ready, guys? Steady, go. Okay, I see that almost everybody has finished. Okay, can you share please your results? How many seconds?
11.
11.
15.
14. 14.
Okay, thank you. I will mute you one more time. All right, so right now I will change the task a little bit. For the next part of the task, you still need a pen, a pencil, or a pencil, piece of paper, and your timer ready. So this time I will ask you to write a letter and under to write the number that corresponds to this letter. Then letter, number, letter, number, okay? For this, I will also ask you to set the timer, so in the end, you can share your results. Please write the full phrase, not the full letter by letter, the phrase and numbers under. Ready, guys? Steady, go. All right, so everybody is sharing their results. Okay, so can you please share your results here out loud?
Actually, 17 and a half, and I made a mistake by writing number 10 twice.
Okay, yeah, that happened to me as well. So you're not the only one, Ksyusha. That's okay. Okay, any other results?
22.
22. So you almost doubled, yeah, the first result. Okay, guys, so now can you answer this question? Does it really work? Does multitasking really save our time?
Well, I used to think so.
Me too. Before preparing for this webinar, I used to think in the same way. Yeah, unfortunately, multitasking doesn't really save our time, because when we try to complete one task, we use one part of our brain, but when we want to switch to another task, we don't turn on another part of our brain. We just switch from one to another. That's why the process of switching from parts of brain, of course, is time consuming. That's why, unfortunately, multitasking doesn't really work and doesn't really save our time. You might have a question right now, Ksyusha. So if I want to prepare for my class, yeah, and at the same time I don't want to lose my time, yeah, I will turn on my washing machine. So is it really stealing my time? Of course not. Because in this case, one of the tasks doesn't really need your brain, yeah, to work, while you can be focused on another one. That's why we call it background tasking. Yeah, performing a task while something mindless is on the background. That's why background tasking is really useful, and it can really improve our productivity. To practice the difference between multitasking and background tasking, I will ask you to complete the task a little bit later. Yeah, right now there is a question, so how to stay focused, yeah, and how to save time if we can't multitask and it really steals our time. So I came up with some useful techniques and ideas that I gathered thanks to my colleagues and our internet. So the first one is called Einstein Moment, and all of us know that Einstein was a genius, yeah, and everybody can be genius if you know when you need to complete the task. So the Einstein Moment technique or theory is about the idea of choosing the right time to be productive and to create as many brilliant ideas as possible. For example, from my personal experience, I'm not productive after 10 or 9 p.m. I can't prepare for my classes when it's night. That's why as soon as I woke up, I need to go right to preparation of my class. And this will be faster, and this will be more productive. That's why there is no need to torture yourself. Yeah, how to check it? Plan important tasks on during your day to choose which part of the day is the best for you to work: morning, afternoon, or maybe night. Yeah, it depends on your rhythm. Okay, another one which I'd like to talk to will be a rule that you might have heard about before. This is a 2-minute rule. Yeah, and it says if you have many tasks to complete, but they're very small, and you feel like, okay, I will complete them later, as soon as you think of this task, do it. But you need to realize that only tasks that might take you up to 2, maybe maximum 5 minutes can work with this rule. Yeah. For example, answer the email or congratulate your boyfriend or best friend on their birthday. Yeah, it doesn't take much time, but as soon as you think of it, do it right away. It's gonna save much time later. Okay, so we've completed many difficult or different small tasks. Now we feel, okay, I don't want to do anything, I'm too lazy. You take your phone and you start chatting, or you start, I don't know, scrolling the feed. You feel guilty. Yeah, I have so many tasks. Why can't I come to them right away? Don't feel guilty, guys, because there is a theory of planned procrastination. Every time when you feel like you need some time to relax and to do nothing, to clean your brain, answer the question why. Yeah, for example, I want to chat with my colleague because I'm just too tired. Yeah, and I want to share my feelings. Okay, do it. Take 10 minutes to chat with your colleague. In this way, you're gonna get rid of the feeling of feeling guilty. Yeah, and you're gonna get rid of that feeling that, oh, I need to do more and more. Yeah, why should I stop? So planned procrastination can help you with getting rid of this guilt, and of course, give your brain some time to relax. All right, and of course, we might have difficult tasks like prepare for our lesson at Green Forest, and we might prepare for 10 hours, yeah, for 5 hours. Of course, that's not okay. That's why there is a technique which is called Pomodoro Technique. I don't know if you've heard about that before, but it works really well. I've checked it on my students who are absolute procrastinators. So I'd like to share it with you. So how it works? First of all, you need to decide on the task to be done. Let's take an example of 4-hour lesson at Green Forest. You need to set the timer. Traditionally, it's up to 25 minutes, but it depends on your task. Maybe the whole task will be 25 minutes, so you can make it less. After that, you work on the task, but helpful hint, try to turn on airplane mode on your phone so you don't get distracted. The thing is that Pomodoro Technique can work only when you are completely focused, like absolutely focused on the task for those 25 minutes. After that, you get 15 minutes of break. Yeah, after these 25 minutes of active work finish, and you can repeat this cycle one more time. To keep track of these timers, there is a nice app which is called Focus To Do. I know that it is based on Pomodoro Technique, and if you feel tired of setting timers all the time, yeah, different timers, 25 minutes, 15 minutes, this app can help you to manage your time and it is based on Pomodoro Technique. All right, if we have a list of to-do list out of 15 tasks, yeah, and we've used planned procrastination, Pomodoro Technique for the most difficult ones, yeah, but we still have a lot. We can go to delegation or automation idea. You might ask, okay, how can it work in my private life here if I don't have lots of employees? I'll give you some examples. The first one, after quarantine, we go out and we see our colleagues, but we have many papers to cut, yeah, much material. You can ask your colleague to help you with cutting materials. Yeah, so you will delegate part of your job to your colleague. Of course, you don't need to force anybody, but if you have a friend among your colleagues, why not? Or talking about our life at home, yeah, you can delegate some house chores to your family. Of course, one more time, you don't need to make anybody do this against their will, but you can share responsibilities. Another idea of automation, which I use every time because I don't really like spending time on checking long written essays of my students. Feel sorry for that. I use Grammarly website, which can help you to check writing task with some basic rules like present simple, present continuous, past simple, present perfect. And after that, you can come back to that essay or whatever it is, cover letter, and to check if the student used necessary phrases for functional language, vocabulary, so on and so forth. But from the very beginning, when this app helps you to check some basic stuff that you don't want to pay attention to, it saves your time. And another idea, which is my favorite one out of these techniques, is elimination. So elimination of the task is just getting rid of the task from your to-do list because it is not necessary or it's not urgent. For example, I want to buy new sneakers, and I could spend hours surfing the net in order to find those sneakers. But of course, I understand that's not urgent for me if I have a webinar coming. That's why I just eliminate this task. Yeah, maybe I'll come to it later, maybe not, we'll see. But yeah, this is also another way of how you can save your time for more necessary tasks. Right, now I have a task for you to check how we got that. I came up with possible to-do list that our teachers of Green Forest might have. It looks very similar to my to-do list. So I've got 8 things here. Right now, I'll give you just a minute to think which technique you would use to save time. So just take a couple of minutes. You can share your ideas on our chat box, or you can just think of them. All right. So now, unfortunately, we can't wait forever. So right now, I'll share my ideas. For watering plants, I chose 2-minute rule. As soon as I remember, I do that because it takes approximately 2 minutes. I don't have that many flowers. By the way, my plant has a flower, and you can congratulate me because I used 2-minute rule for watering my plants. Now it became growing. For preparing for the lesson, I would choose Pomodoro application, Pomodoro Technique to divide my time properly in order to have rest and work balance. For answering emails, I would choose 2-minute rule, the same. For choosing a new movie to watch, I would choose delegation. I can ask my family to do that for me, or elimination. I might come to this question later, maybe not today. Yeah, for washing dishes, I can also choose delegation, as you see, my favorite one. Yeah, I can ask somebody to help me, or I can combine washing dishes and listening to music and use background tasking. Yeah, because I don't need to think much when I wash the dishes, so I can be focused on listening to lyrics of the music. Unless you need this song for your grammar or communication lessons, so you can't combine in this way. For reading the book, I'll choose planned procrastination. Maybe, for example, when I have 15-minute break in my Pomodoro technique, I can use it for reading something. And for chatting with my colleagues, also planned procrastination in the end of their day. Just not feel guilty for spending time on that. Okay, if you have questions, you're free to write them in the chat box. And right now, I'd like just to pay a couple of seconds for useful resources that I recommend you reading if you got interested in a topic of saving your time, yeah, and using it properly. And we all know that our personal time management influences time management inside the classroom. And every time when I enter our teacher Zoom, I hear some complaints. Oh, I don't have enough time for everything. Yeah, I can't cover everything in 90 minutes. That's why I came up with, not a template, but just an example of how I spent my 90 minutes in the classroom. If we talk about communication classes, I might spend up to 15 minutes for warm up and homework checking. I usually check homework with the presentation, PPT presentation, put the most difficult things on the slides, so I can ask my students to, to brainstorm and come up with ideas. Then I spent up to 40 minutes for functional language or vocabulary part, which includes presentation, practice, and production stages. Of course, it might be adjusted to your lesson, but usually it takes up to 40 minutes. And we usually have listening and reading block that also might take us 30-35 minutes if we talk about listening for practicing a listening skill, not for noticing functional language or vocabulary. If we talk about grammar lesson, it might look a little bit different. So warm up or with checking homework part can take up to 20 minutes because we need to recycle. Yeah, they might ask us questions. Grammar presentation might take us 20 minutes. I included there watching a video, listening to a song, reading a text, some reading, discussing questions. Yeah, practice part might take 25 minutes and production 25 minutes as well. But of course, it can be adjusted to your lesson, to your topic. If the topic is easy to note, if the grammar is easy to notice, presentation might take less. But this is how my grammar lesson usually looks like if I have if previous lesson worked well. Okay. Right now we can plan everything perfectly, but how to stick to that plan? Yeah, I recommend you to use timers, and I'll share a link where you can find different types of timers. Bomb timer, rooster timer, whatever. Your students can keep track of the time that they can spend on the task. And you can be on the safe side, like you always know that you have perfect time management. Also, not to calculate timing all the time, yeah. You can use this way of writing in your lesson plan timing column, because in this way you just compare it with the time, with the timer or with the clock, and you don't need to calculate it all the time. Yeah, don't spend time on that. Now I have a question. I think I will turn on the sound. What is TTT? Can you please give me your ideas? I'm sure that you know.
Teacher's talking time.
Perfect. Yeah, teacher's talking time. Today my teacher's talking time is, it's not usual for me that I talk too much. Teacher's talking time, this is time that we spend talking instead of giving our students to talk. That's why right now, if you reduce it a little bit, yeah, and you give an opportunity for your students to talk, this will also save your time. Okay, now you might have a question. Okay, I planned everything correctly, everything is good, but I am running out of time. I don't have enough time. Yeah. So how to fix that? How to plan accurately? Yeah, I've also came up with some useful tips. First of all, you need to start with the aim of your lesson. If your aim is listening, to practice listening skill, of course, you need to give 35 minutes to your students to have lead-in, gist, detailed, personal response tasks, yeah, stages. But if you have listening only for noticing functional language, for example, yeah, you don't need to spend 35 minutes listening to that audio. That's why you need to prioritize your aims and divide time in that way, so your students have enough time to do necessary things first. Next thing, very helpful hint to plan your lesson from the end. For example, I know that in Odesa Green Forest we have very nice maps of Odesa in English, and I want them to use as realia for giving directions topic. Pre-intermediate 14th lesson, I suppose. So I start planning from the end. I know that they need 20 minutes to give directions for them. For me to demonstrate the task, to ask some ICQs, yeah, to have delayed error correction and drilling of nice language usages. So I know that it might take me 20 minutes. Then I count. Okay, functional language takes up to 40 minutes, 20 minutes for production. So practice might take me 10 minutes. It's not that difficult. Giving directions is easy to understand. That's why I choose just one written task, and I move a little bit up to presentation of this functional language, so I can give them just 10 minutes to read the text and fill in the gaps with phrases, yeah, and to check it with PowerPoint presentation, ask some CCQs, and drill. Of course, it might be adapted, but this is just as like an example for you to know how to plan from the end, and in this way, you can divide your time better. And You can also include, to save your time or to adjust your lesson to different groups, because one group is faster, another is slower. You can include flexi stages in your lesson plan. So I've got a question. So what is a flexi stage?
So some extra tasks which you may use with stronger groups or skip with weak groups.
Perfect. Yeah, so this is extra things that we plan in case we have somebody who completes everything faster than we expect. Yeah, exactly. So you can include these flexi stages in your lesson plan. So you can use it if one group is slower and another one is a little bit faster. It can be extra questions to discuss, or regroup and discuss with your partners, discuss mistakes, whatever you planned, or just another task to complete. Good. I collected some issues that teachers might have if they run out of time. Yeah, because for example, the laptop or remote or TV doesn't work. Check everything before the lesson. If you have any troubles, ask admins to help, yeah, or something, or fix it somehow before the lesson. Or students ask too many questions. Of course, you need to answer, but sometimes you also need to block the question politely, like, for example, and give them clear examples. Or if your students ask you too many questions, probably something went wrong with presentation, yeah, or you need to fix this lesson somehow after, but there is no need to answer all the questions, yeah, when they ask. It's better to give them time to practice. Also, if you don't have enough time to pre-teach all necessary words, yeah, I've heard it a couple of times. So maybe you just need to pre-teach only necessary words, like only blocking vocabulary. And this is also the question of accurate planning, yeah, plan in advance, anticipate problems in advance. That's why you can have better timing inside your classroom. All right. But we also might have situation, what if I finished earlier, yeah? So in this case, you can regroup your students and make them share information about previous partners, yeah? After, for example, find someone who they discussed answers, then you can regroup your students and tell, okay, guys, right now tell what your previous partner has said to you. And this also might take you extra 5 minutes or even more, depending on the group. You can ask them thought-provoking follow-up questions. Of course, you need to prepare them in advance. Yeah, so you completed the task and you feel like, okay, 5 extra minutes. In this case, you can have 2-3 questions on PPT just for them to discuss. And of course, it's extra speaking practice. You can also include critical thinking lead-ins for groups who are stronger. And for groups that take less time for noticing stages, yeah, or for practicing stages, you can change lead-in sometimes. And in the end, you can also ask your students to find mistakes and correct them. If we talk about delayed error correction, yeah. So first you write everything on a whiteboard, then you make them discuss, find, decide, correct, not correct. After that, they share their ideas, you review the right answers, and after that, you spend time drilling. So it might take you extra 5 minutes, which is sometimes might save us. Yeah, as an example of critical thinking task, it might look like this. Yeah, some thought-provoking picture and questions like where are these people? Why are they wearing medical gloves? Why are they touching rose petals? Whatever. Yeah, I shared with the star. I shared a link where you can find the same pictures. It's not Geo. I was inspired, but by our also not webinar. It was not workshop. Okay, ladies, I'm so sorry. Can't find the right word. Yes, I was inspired by another teacher of Green Forest, and it really helps me sometimes to save, or not to save, to prolong my lesson for another groups. Okay, so basically I am done. And I don't want you to look like this. Yeah, the time management drives you and makes you feel exhausted. Yeah, planning all the time. I want you to imagine that time management is a miracle that help you to cope with all your tasks easily. Right now, ladies, if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask. I'll try to answer them. Any questions?
Everything was clear.
Everything was, I tried my best. Yeah. Unfortunately, we started a little bit later. I planned.
You should use the presentation.
Sorry?
Will you share the presentation?
Of course, I will share all everything I have. Basically, this is the presentation with all links, with stars, and everything that you can use. Yeah, if you have any extra questions, I will be happy to answer them. No. Okay, I just have one question. Have you ever heard of any techniques that I've presented?
Yes, the tomato technique. So I actually use it from time to time, and it works really, really well.
Delegation.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, that's my favorite one. Yeah, I also love delegation, especially if it is connected to house chores. Yeah, I try to, to use my time management skills as much as I can. Anything else? Have you ever tried Pomodoro Technique?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it works well, especially for huge tasks like preparing for the lesson. I don't get overwhelmed by this not printing but typing all the materials. I usually have breaks and have this planned procrastination 15-minute break that works also really well.
Well, I use application Forest that helps me not to touch my phone.
Oh, okay.
There is, like there is a plant, and if you touch your phone before the time ends, you kill it. And that kind of motivates
That's
me.
really sad. Yeah, that's not cute.
And I don't want to kill any trees, so I set the time and I decide, for example, okay, I'm gonna, be working at it for 50 minutes. And I set the timer, and it mutes all your telephone activities, no messages, no nothing, and the plant is growing on the screen.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Stay focused. This one.
It's called Forest. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, hopefully these are not kittens or puppies, because I would feel extremely guilty if I killed
Well, the thing is that
somebody.
it's also, you can share your results. There is a rewarding system, so the more you do that, the bigger your forest is. So
wow, that's really cool. In our, in this situation with quarantine, we can feel really.
Yeah, we can grow a big forest. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the technique that you mentioned with lesson planning, I started doing it like several years ago during my CELTA. I also put first something that I start the lesson with warm up always. So I also cut off that I already don't have this time. And then I start with with the end as you do, because production, it's always must, etc., etc. So, and then I decide what can go in the middle, what time I have, how much time I have, and what I can choose from what is left. And then time planning goes a lot faster, and it's easier to choose what you will take and what you won't.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I was struggling with my time management, because I had troubles with teachers talking time and all that stuff. So my senior teacher Ira taught me how to do that, and it works really well. I still use it, and this is the only way how I plan my lessons usually. Yeah, I also read comments that people use toggle. Lesa, somebody I don't know who Lesa is, but yeah, that might be helpful to keep track of your time, and then at the end of the day you see how much time you've spent on each activity. This also might work well if you want to keep track. Yeah, usually iPhone gives me my report how much I use my iPhone every week, and I am I'm always shocked with that. Yeah, but maybe toggle will also work, has the same strategy how to keep track of your spend time. Okay, good. So I feel, are there any questions? No, I feel there are no questions. So ladies, thank you for joining. I'm sorry for these technical issues. That was my first time, but thank you for being here, and thank you for your response and feedback. So have a nice day, plan your time wisely. Yeah, and it's a miracle if you can plan your time.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye, ladies. Thank you for joining. Bye.